Motorola's Edge lineup has had a roller coaster of an existence since it was introduced in 2020. It launched with the lofty goal of challenging the iPhone and taking on Samsung's Galaxy S series, only to move to cheaper materials like plastic and actually ditch its curved display almost immediately. To be quite honest, we thought the Edge series might be dead in the water based on Motorola's direction, at least until the company pulled a pretty complete 180 in 2023 with a pair of really good updates. Suddenly, the Edge, or at least the Edge Plus, felt premium again, and now there's a new mid-range Edge in town. It's not a Pro, it's not called a Fusion, it doesn't have Ultra in the name, but it is a well-equipped mid-ranger that looks well-positioned to take on some of the best Android phones for its price point. So here are a couple things that you should probably know about Motorola's new Edge 2024. The first thing is that this is a phone packed with firsts, at least for a US-based launch. Although we've already seen brands like Redmi, Realme, and Poco bring Qualcomm's Snapdragon 7S Gen 2 to their international launches, the Edge 2024 is the first to bring it stateside. Of course, we don't usually see upper mid-range chips in mid-range phones here in the US, mostly because others like the OnePlus 12R or the Pixel 8a prefer to use last year's flagship chipset instead. So the Edge 2024 is taking a little bit of a risk with its hardware, but it seems to be paying off so far. Personally, I've been using the Edge 2024 to keep up with a bunch of the new streaming launches like House of the Dragon and The Acolyte, and it's working just fine as an option for both streaming on the AMOLED display, and it's handling the need to stream audio over Bluetooth without issue. Motorola's textured vegan leather back sits comfortably in the hand, which almost makes it feel like you're meant to hold on to the Edge for a long time at one go. I'm also relieved to report that the Snapdragon 7S Gen 2 hasn't tried to burn its way through my pocket, which is pretty good news considering the heat wave we're currently having in the Mid-Atlantic. I've been able to comfortably use it outside, grabbing pictures, taking videos, and enjoying Maryland's Fleet Week, and I haven't felt like I needed to put it down or give it a rest due to overheating. The other first for the latest Motorola Edge is that it's the first device to arrive in the US with Sony's stacked Lydia 700C camera sensor. Launches from other brands have used Sony's larger stacked sensors like the OnePlus 12 and the OnePlus Open, but the Edge 2024 is the first to adopt the 1/1.5 inch equivalent version. This version specifically is designed to stay as thin as possible, allowing it to be used in some of the slimmest smartphones, making it a good match for the Edge. But it's also meant to hold on to features that you've come to expect from camera phones, like good HDR support. The Lydia 700C is also supposed to capture more light in low light scenarios thanks to its 2 layers of pixels, allowing you to get a little better use out of Motorola's updated automatic night mode. Outside of the stacked primary sensor, the Motorola Edge also has a 13 megapixel ultra-wide camera with a 120-degree field of view, and software-based macro vision for all of the close-ups you might ask for. Unfortunately, it is a dual camera phone, so there's no telephoto option for punching in or capturing fine details from further away. It tops out at 10x zoom, and if you're switching to video, it is limited to 4K at only 30 frames per second. But you can bump up to 60 frames per second as long as you don't mind the lower 1080p resolution. Another powerful feature on the latest Motorola Edge is that it packs some of the fastest wired charging on a phone available in the US. Motorola has slowly expanded its 68-watt Turbopower charging since its introduction in 2022. So far, I've only been taking about 35 to 40 minutes to charge the Edge 2024 from empty to full, which is a pretty solid savings over the 62 minutes that Samsung's Galaxy S24 Ultra requires, and is actually almost an hour faster than what Apple needs for its iPhone 15 Pro. Granted, the charging does throttle back a little bit, so you'll probably spend most of your time charging it right around 50 watts, but it's still significantly faster than phones that cost quite a bit more money. The Edge 2024 also supports 15-watt wireless charging, but I'll be honest, the wired charging makes much more sense if you just need to get up and go in the morning. It is worth pointing out that the Edge 2024 doesn't have a charger in the box, so you'll have to supply your own. One of the Edge 2024's more unique features is one that we first saw in the co-branded Lenovo ThinkPhone from 2023, and one that Apple has actually brought to its iPhone 15 Pro series, but not one that they're going to give Motorola credit for. For the Edge 2024, it's called the Quick Button, and it's kind of your gateway to a lot of Motorola's gestures. This time around, it's not quite as fancy as a bright red button, but it does essentially the same things, giving you a programmable hardware way to launch your camera, jump into a favorite social media platform, or tap into any other app that you use a ton of times throughout the day. I will say using the Quick Button can be a little bit tricky if you have smaller hands. It does sit really, really high on the left side of the phone, meaning that you might have to use 2 hands if you actually want to reach it, but it is a convenient thing to have. If you're not quite as interested in the hardware button, The Edge also supports Quick Launch, which is Motorola's version of the Pixel's Quick Tap, which you can activate by tapping twice on the back of your phone at 3 different strengths. It also supports Quick Capture, which opens your camera with 2 twists of the wrists, and Fast Flashlight, which turns on your phone's flashlight by shaking your phone back and forth. I don't like ending on a downer, but since we're talking about gestures, we should probably talk about the Edge 2024 software as a whole. The phone ships with Android 14 and the April 2024 security patch right out of the box, both of which are good and pretty much up to date. But the larger MyUX experience relies on some bad habits that Motorola has picked up in recent years. We've given the company plenty of grief for bringing ad-filled software changes to its more affordable Moto G models, and now they've worked their way into the mid-range segment too. In an alarmingly short period, Motorola seems to have lost sight of what made MyUX such a good Android skin, with its light, smooth, near-stock experience, quickly becoming one bogged down by ads disguised as folders and pop-up articles on the lock screen that you have to opt out of rather than opt into. Motorola has even shifted its light, simple AccuWeather app into a laggy, ad-filled partnership with OneWeather that slows your phone down considerably, even if you're just trying to check the forecast for the day. Thankfully, you can opt out of those lock screen articles, you can uninstall OneWeather, and you can skip the gaming, shopping, and entertainment hubs altogether. That said, once you do all of that opting out and uninstalling and changing, the Moto Edge 2024 does start to feel a little bit more like a Google Pixel device. And you already know how much we love Pixel UI. And now the last, and perhaps most important thing that you might want to know about the Motorola Edge is when you can get your hands on it and how much it's going to set you back. Well, after announcing the device on June 4th, the Motorola Edge 2024 is officially available as of June 20th. You can pick it up from retailers like Amazon, Best Buy, and Motorola itself, or you can also wait until it launches on carriers like T-Mobile, Visible, and Consumer Cellular in hopes of scoring yourself a deal. If you'd rather skip the contract, the Motorola Edge 2024 comes in a single midnight navy colorway and starts at $549 with 8 GB of LPDDR4X RAM and 256 GB of fixed storage. If we know anything about Motorola, it's probably going to pick up a solid discount pretty soon. Either way, you can learn more about the well-equipped mid-ranger and check out the latest price down below.